7:30 on Wednesday and I've had to put the light on. It's almost completely dark outside. Now the nights are drawing in, but big black clouds have loomed, which I think has made it worse. We're having a lot of rain at the moment. The plants are happy anyway. So I did go over to Morrison's on the way. Thought I'd have a look. Don't often do a Wednesday, so I thought I'd have a look. And not horrifically bad. Could be better. Could be better on the veg front. But today I spent £4.04. What did I get? Haha, guess what I got? The barbecue bean salad. I love this barbecue bean salad. Pleased about that. That's a good basis for 3 or 4 meals. It works really well. Big bag of wonky carrots. One of the carrots in there is extremely wonky. I need to deal with that. It's gone black. But the others are fine. This was 80p down to 20p for a, I'm guessing it's a kilogram bag. 1.45, almost 2 kilograms. There's only, yeah, 1 carrot in there that's not great. The others look fine. I got runner beans, which were 150 down to 45p. Huge, great chunk. There's like loads in there of sliced liver sausage. This was, it's confusing because it says £3.15 on there, but then on the other one it says £5 and a penny, down to £1.26. Anyway, there's a lot of meals in there, a lot of stir fry meals all the way along there, so that's good. We'll have that. And the last thing I got, or the last 2 things I got, pate. I made a loaf of soda bread 2 days ago and this goes really nice with that. So I've got the duck pate with Seville orange. That was £2.50 down to 75p. And also, oh, another one, the same. They're different colours. I'm not sure how I feel about that. They've got long dates on them. I know they're today. Oh well, I'll use that one first. So 2 of those, they were, as I say, £2.50 each, down to 75p. That's 2 of those. And that is the lot. That is the end of Wednesday. When I was in there this evening, one of the bosses was in there and we chatted again about the extra hours that I'm doing and all this, that and the other. So I think they're pleased with that. They cancelled my, or their contract with the agency today. So I haven't heard anything. They'll probably call me tomorrow and tell me what's happened, thinking I don't know. And I don't mind, you know, more hours, more money. I just need it right now. So I work directly for, I mean, I always liaise directly with the business anyway. I never ever spoke to the agency. They were just there to facilitate insurance, I think, make the introduction, and then they don't do anything. So that's good. That's that done. Onwards and upwards. Yeah. I've got a couple of days now to myself. Got a ton of crafting stuff to do. And yeah, let's get on with it. Thursday lunchtime. I'm so tired today. My sleep is not sorting itself out. Oh dear. I am making lunch with that barbecue bean salad. I've got runner beans, carrot and some sweet potato, and I'm going to mix some of that in to boost it in size, and then I can not use as much of this, which means I'll get 3 or 4 meals out of it. Now that the weather has massively cooled off, but it's not cold, I am back on my treadmill. I did 40 minutes this morning in one go, and my energy levels are better, my hormones are settling down a bit, and because it's not as hot I've just got more energy. So I did 40 minutes while I was doing some video editing, and that was brilliant. My feet aren't hurting so much. That seems to have resolved itself as well. I still feel like a truck's run over me. My back's still not there. It's like lower middle. And just be careful when I'm getting up and sitting down and turning in bed still. It's still a little bit painful, and that's why my sleep still isn't back up to scratch. It's getting there though. Each day it's a little bit better. as long as the initial bad pain and struggling to move has gone, I can deal with the low level stuff better. So there's that. Right, let's get my beans in. Loads of beans in here. We've got sweet corn, butter beans, kidney beans. I don't know what else is in here. It's so nice though. So that's all I'm going to put in that. Cook all of that up together. Oh, what a mess. Oh, tastes so good. Add some water to it so it doesn't burn. Let that simmer for a little bit. Yeah, so it's good to be back on the treadmill. I can get all my steps in again now. It's good for my hips, because if I'm sitting down a lot, even just standing, I do a lot of my work just standing up, and just standing all day is also not great, although it's better than sitting. So being able to hop onto the treadmill a few times a day for say 20-30 minutes just keeps everything loosened up. So that's really good. I think that's it really. Seems really quiet today. All the kids are back at school, so it's quiet during the day, and then we're back to that routine of at 3 o'clock when they come out, everything suddenly gets crazy. There's traffic everywhere, there are kids everywhere, there's noise everywhere, and it goes quiet for a bit, and it kicks off again about 4:30, 5 o'clock as people are coming out of work. So you've got these like noisy points of the day and quiet points of the day, but everyone's basically back to normal now, I think. Life has returned to pre-holiday routines. It's 3:45 on Saturday, and I've just got home. This weekend I was doing the deep clean for the main business, who has now taken me off the agency contract and is now employing me directly, and we agreed that this weekend I would do a deep clean to get it up to scratch, because the 4 hours I was doing wasn't enough to get the whole building done anyway. And so 9:30 this morning I went there to start this deep clean. They bought me some new stuff. I've got a telescopic duster which will go right up to the high level, and it's a warehouse building, so it's really high. It's like a story and a half high for the ceiling. So that was really, really helpful. And there was a lot of dust. I've never been able to reach those high levels on those ceilings. And the building just leaks dust. There is so much dust. And they have open beams which shed dust and all sorts of things constantly. And then the building is also absolutely riddled with spiders. Really huge house spiders and cellar spiders, and there are so many webs. It's like you go in there twice a week and clean, and they're always back as soon as you're gone. So it's constant job. So they wanted me to do a deep clean on the ground floor and the first floor, and I started at 9:30. So I have done 6 hours today, and I'm absolutely knackered. I've done something to my back. It's not my usual back thing. I have a muscle, I think it's a muscle, on my left side underneath my shoulder blade where the ribs are. And this muscle often hurts. It's usually triggered by driving. I always get it when I drive, but not as bad as this. But I've just done 6 hours of cleaning. So they as well as the telescopic duster, they've bought a cordless shark hoover, because there's loads of bits I can't get to because they have these blooming corded Henry hoovers, and they're so cumbersome, and they've got like 3 flights of stairs, and you can't lug the Hoover up there, and you mow, you sweep, but the whole place is riddled with webs and dust continuously. So they've bought me that to use, and a load of other stuff. And so this is just getting back to start. They didn't say how many hours for the deep clean. I thought it would take 6. So I've done 6 today, but I still have to go back and mop the floors. I've hoovered, I've just got to mop the floors. I've got to dust down the legs of the office chairs on the first floor. I've done the ground floor, and I also need to do all the stairs. I haven't done anything on the stairs yet. So I need to hoover them, dust them, clean all the banisters, all the things that I can't normally get to because I don't have enough time. And tomorrow I still have to do my hour-and-a-half clean for the top floor, which is the other business. So I'm making my money, that's for sure. I reckon that deep clean is like 7 hours. And I'm now getting a higher rate, so that's really good money. I won't have to do a clean like that again, but going forward I will be doing 2 cleans of 3 hours each throughout the week. So a midweek clean of 3 hours and a weekend clean of 3 hours. So once we're all up to scratch, I will be doing those anyway. So I'm still going to be doing 6 hours over the course of a week, plus the top floor as well, which is an hour and a half. And I've put their rate up because I've always kept their rate in line with the rest of the building. So their rate is going up as well. But I only clean for an hour and a half for them, so it's not really that much. So yeah, I'm absolutely knackered, and I'm home in time for tea. I didn't have any breakfast before I went out because I didn't think I was going to need it, and I missed lunch, so now I've got to find the energy to make dinner. And yesterday, Friday evening, was crazy. I had, I think 3 orders come through on my website, and they were 2 of them were for 2 items each, and the other one is an ongoing set of orders that I'm doing. So I've had some good money. The items that I've sold just on Friday is more than I would normally do in 2 months. So that's really good. So that's now, I kept talking about, as soon as the kids go back to school, people will start thinking ahead to what's coming. And yeah, I definitely sold some stuff yesterday. So I've got 1 item that I need to finish this weekend. Running out of time now already, aren't I? And then I have 3 packages to make up, which I was hoping to send out tomorrow, but with the way that cleaning's gone today, it's going to be the same again tomorrow, I think. So I think I'll be sending those out on Monday. I have a Monday morning clean, so it's going to have to be Monday afternoon, which is not ideal. I don't want to have people waiting that long. So I will do my best to get 2 of those orders out Sunday. Because I can use the drop boxes, and then the other one probably on Monday because I'm still making the final item to go in that. It's turning out to be a really busy start to September. It's so unusual to be this busy, and I'm glad that the cleaning isn't like that all the time, because that was a lot. And I'm going to be honest with you, cleaning isn't that fun. I don't do it for fun. I do it because it's a relatively easy way to make money compared to having to sit in an office 35 hours a week. I don't have to talk to anyone, which is nice. I get to listen to all my podcasts and just get on with it. So that's Saturday, and then tomorrow morning it all starts again. Hopefully I'll get a good night's sleep tonight, because I'm absolutely knackered. Oh my goodness. What a weekend. So Sunday, I've wrapped up the cleaning. So pleased about that. I got in there early this morning. I started at 9. I did the clean on the top floor, which is a different business, which took an hour and a half. And then I spent another an hour and a half finishing the stuff from the other massive clean that I did yesterday. So they now owe me for 7.5 hours of cleaning. And on my new rate, that is money that I could really use at the moment. So everything's been invoiced, and hopefully they'll be all right with that. We didn't specify how long a deep clean should take. It was just a case of get on with it. So I did. Effectively, it's taken the equivalent of a whole week's worth of cleaning, because normally I do 6 hours plus an hour and a half to do the whole building. There are bits in that building that I've never cleaned because I've only ever been on a 4-hour-a-week contract and there hasn't been time. So I have this really, really long telescopic high-level cleaning thing that they bought me because they have some really high ceilings. So I was able to reach right up into the ceilings, and also on the stairways, where the stairways ramp up really high, I could reach all of that. The cobwebs were just crazy. It was filthy, and there are so many spiders. When I went in there this morning, the spiders had already started to move back in. So I reckon by tomorrow morning they'll be back again. It's an ongoing battle. I'm less bothered about the spiders, and I just need to keep all the webs at bay. But I've done my bit, so hopefully they're happy with that. I do think it looks better. It's not like massively different, but maybe other people will notice it more than me. I hope so. And then I start doing my new regular hours from Wednesday evening, and that's 3 hours, and then 3 hours at the weekend. So it should be easier now keep up with all that stuff because I'm doing an extra hour each clean, so I can go around and keep up with more of it. So that's pretty good. So that's that done. I'm glad that's over with. Didn't hurt today. Overnight, everything stopped aching. The muscle in the side of my back stopped hurting. And it's funny that it's on my left side and I'm left-handed, so I would imagine doing all the actions I was doing with hoovers and mopping and doing everything that's left-handed has pulled the muscle out somehow, and that's what I did. But it's always been a weird issue. So I'm glad that's over. Sunday's over. Got back just in time for lunch. Managed to have lunch today, which I didn't have yesterday. And this afternoon I've just been processing and packaging up orders that have come in on my Shopify site because Friday was good and I didn't have time and energy yesterday to do it. So I have packages now ready to go. I'm waiting for one payment for one batch, and then that's 3 packages, and already I'm starting to finish some more things and get those uploaded onto the website. So if you are watching my Shopify store, my shop link is in the show notes below. If you're one of the people who follows my page, there will be more things going up. I'll probably put a few up at the beginning of the week. I'm just getting the templates ready, and I've got to do the photographs, and they'll probably go up at the beginning of the week. So throughout all of next week there should be more stuff going on. If you're interested in the pincushion jars, that's the stuff that's been selling, but there will be more going up, and I will keep making them as and when I have the jars available. Yeah, I'm just enjoying that moment while it's here, and I presume people are buying them, like pre-buying early as gifts and things, which is fantastic, which is kind of what I wanted really. So it's been a really, really productive weekend with actual money made, and I'm hoping that my end of September audit, which will come out at the beginning of October, will look a lot happier than last month's one, which wasn't great. But for so many reasons. Anyway, so yeah, glad that's over with. It's very wet today. We had some lovely thunder earlier. I love thunder. No lightning, but some really cracking thunder. And we're supposed to have a red moon eclipse or something tonight. I'm not sure we're going to get it here. We might get some clear sky late tonight. I always miss these things because whenever the fun things happen, it's always really cloudy, and I get quite a lot of light pollution here, so I don't get to see these things really. Anyway, fingers crossed for that, because that would be a nice way to end the day. And that's the end of my Sunday really. I'm just going to chill out for the rest of the day now. Do a little bit of work, but nothing dramatic, just some internet stuff, and works for me. I've just been to Sainsbury and a miracle happened. I could buy things with nectar points. So last I can't remember if it's on this video or my previous video, and I said I was still having problems, and Nectar were telling me that it was Sainsbury's fault, there's something wrong with their tills, and Sainsbury were telling me it's a Nectar problem, there's nothing wrong with our tills. I did some research because Nectar advice, absolutely useless. Google, on the other hand, will tell you what you need to know. So I had a look, and I think I mentioned before, they had things like if your internet connection isn't good. Who'd have thought that just scanning your Nectar card on a till required a good internet connection? So I discovered, because I didn't know this at the time, that Sainsbury have Wi-Fi. Didn't know this, it doesn't say anywhere that they have free Wi-Fi for customers. So I've connected to that, really good Wi-Fi signal. They also said don't use the Smart Scan app, and very often my Smart Scan app doesn't connect when I go into the store. So that could well be an internet problem. So I then connected to the Smart Scan because I like to use it to make sure I'm racking up enough purchases to get my stuff free on points. So I used it just to make the shopping list, and it connected first time, no problem. But I didn't use it to pay for my shopping. So I got what I wanted, went to the till, scanned everything individually, scanned my Nectar card, and it blooming worked. So I'm still waiting for the card to turn up, the plastic card, and I'm probably going to start using that again because it will be on my key fob anyway, and I'll always have that when I go into Sainsbury. So I'm going to try that, and then just keep the app online so I can keep an eye on how many points I've got to spend, making sure I'm unlocking all the offers, all that kind of thing. So maybe that is the solution. It could well have been an internet problem more than anything else, because if you watch my channel regularly, you'll know that my Wi-Fi, I don't have Wi-Fi, I have 4G. I have the most shocking 4G ever, which is provided by Three, who have now merged with Vodafone, and the signal is just as bad as it ever was. So while the kids were off school, it wasn't too bad because we weren't getting all the kids coming out of school, because I live right near multiple schools. So, you know, 3 o'clock, half 2, 3 o'clock, there are kids everywhere, and they're all on their phones just coming out of school. So the signal's all jumbled, and you've got the parents collecting the kids, and they're all driving around and all that sort of thing. So there's a lot of signal being used. And then and so about 2:30, 3 o'clock, my 4G would stop working completely. It would completely give up the ghost, and then it wouldn't come on back on again until sometimes it would be about 5 o'clock. But also then you've got people coming out of work, so suddenly there's lots of extra traffic around, and they've all got 4G data on their phones, and my phone will stop working then. So if you get a really busy week, my phone might go down at say 2:30 and not come up again until like 7:30, 8 o'clock. So I'm getting very used to just not having any internet, and I just go off and do something that doesn't involve the internet, like crafting. You know, I have tons of stuff I can be doing that does not involve me being connected to the internet. So it's a little bit of downtime from the internet. I take that as a good thing. Can't hurt. So 5 days a week, that's what you'll get, is really bad signal in the afternoons. So I know that it doesn't work very well, but I had no idea that I needed Wi-Fi to be able to spend my Nectar points. It's an absolute joke. But the Wi-Fi connected up fine. I've registered with them because I'll have to be putting that on every time I go in. No problem, I can cope with that. So maybe that is the solution. I'll take that as a win. Apart from that, everything's ticking along. I've just been to Sainsbury and I've just left my cleaning job, come back via Sainsbury. The lady of the house, who has now been back home from hospital for 2 weeks, is doing really well. She seems a lot better. While she was in hospital for this latest fall, they re-looked at all her medication, and she's been asking them all year, or her GP anyway, saying, I need my medication looked at because she's having falls, she's very unsteady on her feet, and this is why she ends up in hospital. So while she was in there, they re-looked at all her medications. They took her off all her medications and have given her a whole new stack of medication now. She's on even more medications. But what they've changed is the epilepsy medication that she says she's been on for years and they've never done anything about it. So they've changed it. And not only has she been home 2 whole weeks and not had a fall, which is a miracle, but her speech has come back. She seems a little bit more lively. Never trust a doctor. If you're not happy with something, push them. You don't have to accept what they tell you. So it sounds like it may have been the medication that was the problem. She seems a lot more chipper. I'm really relieved about that, because she was coming home from hospital and falling a few days later, and they'd be coming to get her again. But she's been home 2 whole weeks, not had a single fall. And her husband said, you know, because we would say, you know, you seem a lot better. And he definitely agreed with me today when I said, you know, you've not had any falls. And I said, that's really good for you. And he said, yeah, that's really good. I'm really pleased about that. So he's definitely noticed, I've noticed, and I only see her twice a week. So I think we've solved the problem, which is that her flipping GP wouldn't listen to her when she had concerns about her medication. And now she's been in hospital, they've changed everything. And she seems a lot happier and seems a lot better. So hopefully that is good. Doesn't mitigate all the other problems, but one thing less to worry about. So that's it. I can go in with my shopping. I bought some wrap. I've got to wrap my mum's funky presents, and I bought some actual things that I needed. I bought hair dye. I'm going to get my greys sorted out before I go down, so I look prim and proper. And I got some bananas, and I haven't had any potatoes for about 3 weeks now because I haven't been able to shop at Sainsbury's, so I've been doing without potatoes, which has been fine, but I got potatoes today, so that's that. So that's it. I'm going to go in, going to get a quick lunch because it's now 20 to 2, so I'm going to have a little bite to eat, and yeah, Monday done. Well, Monday evenings are the new Sunday morning for Morrison's, because it's Monday evening and I have been to Morrison's and I did pretty well, surprisingly. A weird thing happened on the way home though. I walked my usual route, the route that I go every single time, and I happened to look down to my right and there was a plant poking up over the top of a low concrete barrier fence, and I thought, that looks like a tomato plant. And I went round and it was this huge tomato bush heaving with huge tomatoes. Now they're all green at the moment, but it's in a really sunny position, so I think if I keep going back I might get myself some free tomatoes. I picked up a couple which had started to turn, and I'm going to put them with my bananas, and I'm going to finish the ripening process. So I might have got myself some free tomatoes there. I don't suppose anyone else has noticed it there. It's an empty car park that no one uses. It's a business that's closed down. So what did I get today? Let's have a look. I spent £6.70 today and I've done pretty well. Look at my grey. I've got some hair dye today. I'm going to sort my hair out. And look how suddenly this morning I noticed how my fringe suddenly needs a cut. Anyway, so what have I got? Runner beans. These were £1.50 down to 45p. I got 3 packs of those because I finished the last one that I bought, and I like a runner bean. I got some more cheese. There was quite a lot of cheese there, but I only bought one. This is a Galbani Italian. It was £3.50 down to 88p, and that's a good sized piece of cheese, so we'll enjoy a bit of that. Not sure why I got this. We have Savers salted peanuts, were 59p, 45p. I'll find some sort of recipe for that. I also got, not my usual, but this is a dressed pickled slaw. I've had this before and it was really, really nice. This was £2.50 down to 63p, so it's a nice healthy, slightly salady things going on there. They had some vegetable samosas. These were £3 down to 75p. The sun's in the way there, you can see that. An absolute favourite of mine. I'm a sucker for a pork pie. Look at the size of this pork pie. It's a big pork pie. It was £3.50 down to 88p. I love pork pies. Don't often see that size at that price, I can tell you. And the other thing they had were pork and apple pies. Gorgeous pastry. Look at that. These were £3.50, also down to 88p. So I bought two because I like those. They're not pork pies, they're actual pies. So I might heat one of those up. If I decide to make something else in the oven, I'll heat one up. I wonder if they can be frozen. It doesn't usually say. Just says keep refrigerated. Just going to eat them. Solves that problem, doesn't it? So that's everything that I bought today. So Monday evenings are better than Sundays, so I'm not going to go Sundays now unless something changes again. That was a really good shop for me. It's a nice broad range of things, and yeah, I'll do the usual. I put up there showing you what I would have spent if I bought all of this for full price, and then how much I've saved by buying it on the yellow sticker discount, and you can see that that is worth the effort. So that's it. It's on and off rainy today, and now this evening is gorgeous. Blue sky, sun, lovely and warm. And it is the 8th of September. So the autumn is absolutely here. You can feel it in the air. It's definitely here. But it's also really nice, actually. It's really good. So I am now going to get this lot onto my spreadsheet so I know what I've spent, what I've saved, la-di-da-di-da, and that's it for Monday. That mammoth clean that I did at the weekend, and Sunday was okay, but Saturday I did like the 6 hours, and I came back feeling like a truck had run over me. And I tried to research what was going on with this muscle that hurts in my back, and it sounds like an intercostal muscle strain, which is the muscles that run between the ribs, and it does feel like it's in the ribs. But they're supposed to get better, and I've had this for years. So when I drive, my seats kind of roll around at the side a little bit so that you're kind of sat in the middle, but it puts pressure on there and it makes it ache a little bit when I'm driving. So there's something ongoing there, and I've had that for years. But it reminded me that I need to put together an at-home exercise routine that's simple, because everything ached, and I thought it shouldn't ache this much, you know, my muscles shouldn't be this bad. I know my joints are a little bit iffy at the moment. That's been a menopause thing. My feet have stopped aching. That went when all the other weird symptoms that I get also stopped, and that's to do with the collagen in your feet. My ankles aren't as bad as they were, but occasionally I get like achy knees and stuff like that. And I've, like, over the years had all sorts of ongoing, I don't know, it's injuries. I don't know what it is. I've had a frozen shoulder in my left shoulder here, which lasted for 7 years. And even now, I don't, you know, if I do too much stretching, so I can do that and I can feel that pulling. So I know that that's never really properly healed up. And for several years or so, I also had problems with mobility in my left hip. I think it was probably where I started running, or I was doing too much, because I'm one of those all or nothing people. So I'll decide I'm going to start running, and I'll go from, you know, 0 to running for 30 minutes every day. You know, I don't do it anymore, but I used to. So I've caused all sorts of injuries. I've had shin splints, which finally, after 4 years, have now stopped hurting. I ain't never running again, that's for sure. I think my running days are over anyway. But I've got all these like random like aches and pains. So I thought I need to do this, and I've tried to do this before, and I'm not very disciplined because I find it boring. So I went onto YouTube and I looked for a simple yoga schedule, just a simple set of stretching exercises that I can do for upper body, so for my back, my shoulders and my neck. And I found a really good 10-minute one with some really simple things that I can do. And I only found it a couple of days ago, so I've only done it twice, but I'm going to try and do it every day. And so it's just really simple stretching exercises. It's nothing too over the top, but every one I did, I could feel the lack of mobility in some of my joints, and like particularly this shoulder, and some of the movements I was doing, I could feel the pull in my muscles where I've lost so much flexibility in my muscles. They've lost all their stretch. And most of that, I think, is probably because I don't do a variety of movements. So I do the cleaning work and everything, but you're not doing the right kinds of movements. And when I'm crafting, I'm usually standing still at a desk and I'm doing very small things in front. So I'm not pulling across these muscles and pulling, everything, giving everything a chance to stretch and move. There's only like repetitive movements. So I need to get better at that. So I'm focusing on the upper body because I know that my upper body mobility isn't great. And I don't want to get any stiffer than I am now, because if that happens and I'm a lot older, it's going to be a struggle. I also have the sciatica, which comes and goes, and there are, stretching exercises you can do to help with that. I find just keep on moving and it pops out. Sometimes it might happen a couple of times a year. This year I think I've had it 4 or 5 times for whatever reason. But the pain is shifting. It's moving from the left to the middle of the back, which is supposed to be a good sign that it's sorting itself out. I don't know. Anyway, so that's really down to me being careful with lifting, because every time it's gone, it's because I haven't lifted properly, and I should know better than that. But, even now just standing like this with my arm back like this on my hip, I can feel the pull in that shoulder right underneath my shoulder blade. So struggling with very basic mobility, and it's pure laziness. I can find 10 minutes of my day to sit and do some stretch exercises. I can do this, I have to do this, because I'm seizing up. And seizing up at this time of life when, the menopause is causing all sorts of things to happen with your joints and with your muscles and with your basic energy levels. I think I'm in my 3rd month now since I started to notice the difference in my symptoms, and they were starting to go. And everything has gone bar these very stiff joints and things, and I think a lot of that is because of the types of exercise I do. So I've got my treadmill, which I try to just do just to keep moving, because that's good, that keeps my hips moving, and it's good for my lower body joints because I'm doing the walking movement. And I still try out and go out on hikes. I haven't done as many hikes this year, mostly because of the weather, because it's either been brutally hot or it's been downpours, and the times when the weather's been good, I've often not been available. So I haven't done as many, and you can see how much I've done this year between the hiking and the car camping. If you go to my Walk With Me channel, which is, there's a link in the notes below, you can see I've catalogued everything that I've done this year, and it's not an awful lot. If I could go on a hike every single month, that would be great, but it's not always possible. And I'm running out of places to go. There are some reservoirs I'd like to walk, but there's nowhere to park. It's either there's nowhere to park at all, or they're paid parking, and I don't pay for parking. I never ever pay for parking anywhere. I will do a lot of research to make sure I don't have to do parking. So I was quite mobile last year in terms of doing the hiking and stuff, because it was my first proper year of hiking, and I was doing bits of the Pennine Trail and that sort of thing. But again, it's working the lower half, but it's the upper body that I need the help with now. So I'm going to keep doing those yoga stretches every day and get better at it, and hopefully that will start to help at some point. Anyway, so that's another thing that I need to add to my list of things that I need to do regularly. And I'm not very disciplined, really, am I? Today's big task is to get this trimmed and this dyed. Let's get stuck into this. Don't panic, people. I do it like this all the time. It never looks perfect. Now I've got to dye it and wash it as well. So after I've done that, then I shall just tidy up any bits that look odd. And it always takes a couple of days to settle. So what I normally do is, if I see little bits are out, I'll just trim it. But I need to let it, see, look, there's some bits there. That's fine. Yeah, some escapees there. And there as well. Right, that'll do for now for that. And then we're going to dye it now. I'm only going to do this top bit because I wear my hair down, so you won't see it on here anyway. So I'm just going to dye this bit at the top and then blend it, and then that will do. Right, so let's get rid of all this hair and then I can get ready for hair dyeing. Okay, so I'm going to dye my hair now. This is the one that I use. Last time I bought the slightly darker version and it was a bit too much, so I've gone back to my, what is it, Urban Brown, number 088. So I've got the two elements of it and you put them in together and you mix them up. I am not going to use the whole thing because it's too much for what I want to do. Normally I do half, but I think I'm just going to do like a third of it, and then because I'm only going to do these little top bits. That's all it needs doing really. I just want to get tidied up because I'm going down to my parents soon for my mum's 80th, and we're going out to a nice restaurant for lunch, and I don't want to be there with my grey hairs. So I'm going to find a little tub to do this in because it needs to be, normally I would use this one to mix it all up, but I want to get this brush into it. I'm going to brush it on. Normally I just squidge it on, but I'm going to use the brush and just, because I just want to do these top bits. It means I've got to slather my face in Vaseline either, and I just want to do a quick and easy top up. So let's go and find a pot and then I'll be back. Right, so I've got, let's put the rest of that in. How are we going to do this? Could decant from one pot to another pot. I could just mix it in there. It's supposed to give it a really good shake, but I could just stir it in. I'm not even going to need very much of this. Right, so let's, I always guess, is what it is. Get that in there. That's probably enough. Let's put those away. Get my brush out. And let's start mixing. Right, so let's see what happens. And then we'll blend it out to there, and then as it gets close to the end, I'll massage it in through the lengths. And then hopefully it will blend. I'm sure lots of you are watching this and thinking, no, what are you doing? Yeah, it's about right, isn't it? Very often I leave the grey growth a lot longer, but it makes me look so unkempt when the greys are coming through. Even if like your hair's newly washed and it looks lovely, if you've got like loads of grey growth coming through at the top, and unless you're deliberately trying to grow your greys out, it just looks like you haven't bothered. And for me, mostly that's true. I just don't bother. I'm not really fussed about like beauty regimes and things. You only need to watch one of my videos to know that I very rarely wear makeup now. I used to wear it all the time. I used to be absolutely obsessed by it. Wouldn't leave the house without looking, you know, spot on. But you know what? Nobody cares anymore. I stopped wearing makeup and nobody said a thing. I don't think anybody even noticed. So that is all the dye. So I'm going to let that do for about 10 minutes, and then I'm going to get the gloves and I'm going to massage the rest of it into the lengths, and then hopefully that'll do the job. I've never quite done it like this, but it's not like massively different to how I normally do it. I just normally use gloves and just massage it all in and make a mess, and then I'll dye my fingers and everything, because your nails go through the ends of those gloves. But hopefully that will tidy me up a little bit. Right, so let's clean all these things off. Right, come back in 10 minutes, massage that in a bit, and then into the shower we get. Okay, 10 minutes is up. Let's pop these gloves on and just start to blend this in a little bit. A bit of dye to remove there, we'll sort that out afterwards. There are grey bits underneath there, but as I say, I wear it down most of the time, so it's not really going to notice. If it becomes a problem, I'll just go back and redo that little bit at another time, but it'll be fine for now. Right, so we'll let that run for the last 10 minutes. or thereabouts, and then hop in the shower and see how that looks. Right, hair's done. Doesn't look too bad. I think the colour's a little bit light, but I think that's because this colour is a little bit too light for my hair and the other one's too dark. So what I might do for next time is buy the dark one and then mix the two together to get something in between. There isn't an in-between colour, but my hair's a bit all over the place because I think my hair is a bit lighter, but I've had darker on it before, so it's kind of like a weird mixture now of more natural here and then darker up here, which is what makes that look a bit lighter. But it'll do. It's nice and soft and lovely. Love it. It'll do the job. Yeah, it's not bad.